Hey everyone, make sure sound
Okay,
coming,
I think
sound's
I
coming out
turned on
clear.
my mic.
Mic is active, screen share is active. Okay, all good. Right, so welcome to this webinar presentation hosted by Aura FX. This week, I would like to introduce you to a good friend of mine. His name is Bouraq. Some of you will know him from social media. His Twitter handle is at Trading Channels. He describes himself as a blogger, trader, investor, chartist, and recently father. You will note only four of those terms describe his true passion. Just kidding, I'm sure he's a good blogger too. He will present an explanation of his technical method and live analysis. There is a lot to be learned from this guy, so pay attention. And without further ado, I'll hand
Can you
over
hear me, Will?
to Bouraq.
Hello? Not sure if everyone is hearing me. Can you write me on Skype, Will? I don't want to speak to myself. Okay, great. So everyone is hearing me. Yeah, my name is Bouraq. I'm a blogger at tradingchannels.co.uk. I'm been blogging for just over 2 years. And trader for about 7, 8 years now. So maybe some of you know, I basically use trend line channels and support and resistance lines for my trading analysis and nothing else. So it's a matter of choice. A lot of people. I used to use just the RSI, but kind of even gave up on that. So I'm only using lines, colorful lines. And today I know that this is obviously a uh, forex website in PineFX. So I'm gonna go through Euro US dollar and GBP US dollar, and I also in the blog I go through the indices and commodities, nat gas, oil, etc., and gold. But today I'm gonna concentrate on forex. Maybe if we have time, I can maybe go through nat gas. So yeah, this is obviously the Euro US dollar um, long-term chart. Um, I'd like to go through how I traded back in 2014, just before Euro US dollar began its massive decline. So back then, a lot of people looking at this specific um, resistance line. By the way, this chart is on log scale, so this chart is on logarithmic scale. You can hear from a lot of people saying, you can't use log scale on forex. You can use it on commodities, etc., but indices, but not forex. Because euro US dollar can become US dollar euro, or AUD US dollar can also become US dollar AUD. So then the log scale doesn't really work. Well, it works in a different way. If I swap this euro US dollar to US dollar euro, I'm sure I would see something. Maybe not this channel, but I would see some other channel, which would still give me something. So here it is. Why I'm basically emphasizing on log scale, I'll show you in a minute. So this resistance, the black one that I just drew, a lot of people back then were calling, like much higher prices, maybe to a rally to 160. However, I was a bit skeptical on this due to several factors, but mainly I was looking on the channels on this log scale chart, and I was trying to, for a channel you need an anchor point, which is the top of this long-term chart. That's at 163.7, and you need two reference points, which would be the lower band on this case. So you would go through this and plot your parallel lines, and this was the reference point for my channel, and it's quite a perfect parallel line, and that's why I was kind of hovering around this area to basically pinpoint this parallel line, and which told me that euro may be topping around here. Some other lines that I drew back then was this resistance line, obviously, and also this support line, which gave me a very nice wedge, which formed in about 1.5 years. So I thought, the channel is looking good, the wedge is looking good, this shouldn't go to waste. That's why around 140 I was already going short, entering short, and I thought it was going to go to close to one level, looking at the bottom band, so the area which is around here, but I was thinking it would go slower than this, so it would hit the bottom band somewhere here, more closer to parity. But I couldn't complain. It was going pretty well. So the descent accelerated in during 2014. And what happened recently, and that's why I turned bullish on Euro US dollar, is we hit the bottom band of this beautiful channel. Yes, there is some undershoots, and I was almost throwing in the towel, but sentiment was already telling me that this can't go further than, it won't go to one, because it was one of the most crowded trades in the history. So everyone was short Euro US dollar. So yes, this can be a short squeeze. This can be the start of something big for Euro. But I think we will see it very soon. So I'm gonna go to daily channel. Sorry, daily chart. The thing is, the entire decline all the way from 2014 March was kind of split between. So I like coloring my lines, gives me more clarity. So as you can see, this entire decline was split the above and below this orange line. So it started. This is the top of the. So this is how I take my anchor point. So this is the very top of the action, and it came all the way down, and it bounced here, and it bounced here, and then after the third bounce, it broke it down, and then it went back up, found as resistance, obviously, came down, it hit it again. So I was shorting more around this area. I was thinking this orange. It tried really hard to break it down, so it shouldn't be easy to break it back up. So it was a nice short again, coming all the way down here. So, and around this area, as I just plotted that first channel, this area was the bottom of Euro. What happened after here? I may go back, go to a bit more closer look. So what happened after here was quite interesting. So I wasn't obviously not extremely convinced that this Euro is definitely bottoming. So I was looking for, this area. So there are a lot of small little channels that I was plotting back then, something like this, and going short and long every time a channel broke up and down. But the this this parallel line and this parallel line was giving me some sort of a confidence that that something is shaping up. When there is too many hits, something like this on the upper band, I become quite cautious about the hits. So the next time it hit, it didn't come back down. In fact, it really broke it. So I'm gonna color this in red. So it really broke it up. So every time came back to the red, it held a support. So I was even, it's not something that accurate. So I was doing something like this more. So it's like a band rather than a single line. Every time it came here, it held. Once it held, and twice it held, and the third one, it kind of held for a short while and then broke it down. And then it held as resistance, and you can see what happened after that. This was one of those. So it bottomed here, made a higher low, and then it made a higher high. So which made me think that a rising channel may be forming as well from here. Then we have the right to plot a rising channel basically. So this is happening right today. That's why I went long right at this hit today, and I actually tweeted that entry on Twitter. It was 1083, and interestingly, the news from Greece came right after that hit, so it helped a bit. It helped for the bounce. So I'm still long from 1083. What is happening is obviously from this top, and during that top here, I was also looking into this area. So obviously there was a lot of resistance around this area. So this was really translating to here. So I was thinking, this top here was not going to be this level here was not going to be broken up very, very quickly. What I do is also, this blue one, the blue channel, I don't really plot only the upper and lower bands. I also plot some internal structures. So if you look at here and there, so before this bottom band was hit, I was already, this is my reference for the upper band, and this bottom is my anchor point. So, and I was already plotting these and seeing that the internal structure of these supports and resistances in this area obviously was looking pretty, for me it's really good. So you can see here's a support, here's a support, here's a small support, and then here's support, a bit more support here, and then it broke down, and here is a resistance, and another one, support, resistance, resistance, breaks back up, holds that support, and breaks it down. So the internal lines are not really there to tell me, it's not going to break up or down. They more tell me that the major channel, if it gets there, it has a better chance to hold. So that's in today's session. Also, this kind of support was also kind of this black line that I just plotted was already telling me that it can hold. So I'm gonna put this green, and I can see maybe we are having we're gonna see a wedge, a declining wedge, a very sharp, very steep declining wedge forming here. So I would expect something like a head to the upper band, upper the resistance of the wedge comes back down, and if it breaks up, I would really like it, obviously, due to my longs. So I can also see this one here happening. So I have a resistance here, and I'm hoping that because of these lines, because of these points, and this one here held as resistance today. So I hope this resistance just above the bottom one will break up soon, which will take us to a higher level. So the red one I deleted as it has been violated several times, up and down, broken up and down. So I usually delete that. And yeah, this is the roadmap of the Euro US dollar. I can go to GBP US dollar, and this is a very long-term chart. From 1995, there was some obvious resistance, and I was plotting these when it was happening. Back in, when was that? Last summer, I think, when it was around 1.72. Something like this, yes. So I was quite cautious about, a lot of people were calling GBP going to 180, 190, and I thought it can't be that easy due to this massive resistance at that area. What happened after that was obviously I shorted around that area. I was plotting these as well, something like this. These are the resistance areas. Let me remember. So something like this. Wasn't really making a channel. It was a little bit like too bent. I couldn't really fit a nice channel from this bottom. But still, it worked due to this resistance, and obviously this wedge was telling me that it was running out of gas. What happened after that was, it slowly gave in. I mean, US dollar gave in, and obviously the euro was already coming down, and I was seeing that US dollar was getting more stronger, and GBP was topping. So kind of think, okay, this is the time. But you see, you have to be quite how can I say, maybe quite patient, because it held there for I don't know how many weeks is that, but maybe 2-3 weeks around 172 area. So you have a lot of time to doubt yourself, but finally it worked out. And what happened after that was it wasn't that clear what was happening in terms of channels. I was looking into these, obviously, and at some point really broke up. But finally, again, it formed a very nice channel, which was something like this. This here. So the bottom band was really following. So when I see these kinds of like 3 hits, and this is not rocket science. I mean, you can pick up this bottom only by, you don't even have to plot any channels. You can just plot this line here and find the support, and next hit will probably bounce from there. So what if I go to a bit more closer? to this area. Well, let me think. Yeah. So because this one didn't really hit the bottom band of this black channel. I tried all of these, all of these. How can I say? Um, mind games with lines. So obviously this line and this as an anchor point gave me this point, and it was a nice short, but it didn't, it was quite short-lived. And obviously this was also pretty good. This whole thing was a very tradable channel for quite a while. So every time it hit this here, it was tradable. So short entries. So what happened after that was again having this as an anchor point, the bottom band. I was plotting also here this. So I'm going to plot this as a red. And this red was holding beautifully here, came down, it held again, came down, and it broke it up. What I don't like is actions because of news. So it kind of ruins the technical picture usually. And that happened when UK elections were announced. So the results were announced, and this was, I think, Thursday night at 10 o'clock. It made this massive rally, and it broke it up, obviously, the red one. I don't think it was going to break up so quickly, but because of the news, it broke up. But now, as you can see, this red held quite nicely when it came down, went back up, and it was a very nice long entry from here to there, came down, it was another nice long entry for not too long, obviously, and it finally broke it down. What I think is that usually these kinds of rallies, news-induced rallies are retraced. So, and the bottom is about, let me see, as 152.70 area. We may see it, we may not. I'm not, I can't say we definitely have to retrace it. Obviously, we don't have to. But to my experience, eventually they get filled. All those gaps when during that announcement get filled. And as you can see, the technical picture, usually when a channel breaks up, a retest holds a support. So I would go long here, and it is still holding. But just because, I know that this was news induced, I don't have the guts to go long yet. And from the very top, I also plot this, and it's also looking good. Today's bounce was really at the bottom of this fresh channel from the recent so orange channel. So today's bounce was right at the green and the orange support area. And what one last but not least is this whole thing from this bottom. How it's going to play out is quite a question mark still for me, because if it was going to be a channel, it's already it's already gone. So I can plot something like this, but it's already kind of. So I can plot something like this, but it's already kind of totally disregard this channel. The upper band is right here, and the anchor point here. So it may do something else. It will show me what it's doing. Maybe this orange channel becomes a bull flag, and it will break it up and then really shoot up. But as you can see, I'm for both pound and euro, I'm kind of bearish on US dollar. I think we can go through Natgas if anyone is interested. Recently, okay, this is too long. This is the weekly chart on Natgas. I am quite concentrated on nat gas, as it's quite a hot commodity because of shale gas and etc. I was even watching back in 2012 around here. I was going long through an ETF when it was kind of like around 2 area. What happened after that was quite interesting. So here is also very important that log scale should be on. And I will show you what I mean by that. So the entire channel, or the entire rise after the bottom at 1.9 can be captured with this channel. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, this is textbook channel, and it can pinpoint right the top of it. And I was already shorting around this area. Because it had already three hits to the at the lower band, and it was going through this as a reference. You can pinpoint this area, so it's not really kind of rocket science. Very simply, you can pinpoint that area. And obviously this was especially after I saw this very long nice red bearish candlestick, it gave me more confidence that it's topped. If I turn off the log scale, this is what happens. So nothing. You can't see anything. I don't know why a lot of people, even people who have 30,000 followers, they plot a lot of times they plot without the log scale. I just don't get, because you have to use it. Especially on commodities and long-term channels. On the short term, it doesn't matter. The short term, normal linear scale and log scale are exactly the same, basically the same. So very recently, from this top, I'm charting things like this at the moment. So things like this. I'm trying to experiment with my lines. How this whole thing is getting established. This area back in 2009, this bottom is at 2.4. This bottom is at 2.5. That's why I was thinking, if it's gonna, I don't follow patterns, but I only know head and shoulders, and if this is the right shoulder, we can, we can. I'm based in the UK. Can I look at Aussie dollar? Yeah, look at Kiwi. We can. I have never looked at Kiwi, to be honest, so I can have a shot at it. But Aussie dollar, yes, I've been following Aussie dollar. So yeah, I'm gonna finish Natgas. Okay, this may be still our declining channel. and I'm still thinking that this one is not finished yet. Although people call, bottom here around 2.5, I'm skeptical about it. I don't want to talk too much of like a big confidence, but 2.4, if it's going to do an inverse head and shoulders, we may see another decline to 2.4. But for the moment, it looks quite good. Like it rallied very strongly in this area. What happened more recently was that I was looking into. So let me see. I don't always look into channels. Obviously, there are other things that can influence the price. So what I do is also look at these kinds of lines here. This is obviously okay. GBP, JBY, a lot of DAX. I don't think we have time for all of these guys. I have to be very quick with NatGas then. So the recent top, I also plotted in, I also called it in my blog. This line was also parallel to here. So it was not a typical channel, but it was giving me a lot of confidence that it may be topping right there. Okay, this is the red one. So I'm going to delete this one. And if we go to a more closer look, the red top, yes. So kind of, yeah, it bottomed right here, right? So what I was doing is plotting these things. This was obviously a wedge forming very nicely from here to there. So this wedge and the top of the wedge and the red resistance came right simultaneously. It happened at the same moment, and I'm saying like, okay, this is it. It has to come down round around here, and I tweeted this one basically, and then it came maybe an hour later. It was already seeing this massive red candlestick. What I do more was this. This is very recent. So the bottom is here. The upper band can be like this. So this wedge I'm going to delete. And from the top, I also plot this channel. So today's rally stopped right at the top hit of the channel. So it was a very good short entry. And then some channels like this, internal structures, I always look and see if this channel, this is from the bottom of 2.5. It's still holding, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like today, all day, it was hovering around the support area. But, which one is going to win? I don't know. We will see. So this declining channel may win, or this rising channel may win. But looking at these very sharp declines and a lot of hits on this bottom band, I'm more leaning bearish. So this is NatGas. Okay, some requests on FTSE. To be honest, if you follow my blog, I'm charting FTSE, DAX, all of these instruments almost every day. So there is nothing much different which I can explain here. So this is the FTSE channel, the green one. It's not a channel, to be honest, because of all this action here, but it's it explains why it is so choppy. It's very similar to, S&P, Dow, all this choppy market because they are going in through this very very slow grinding upward move. Um, people people say UK is out of the woods, um, and massive good recovery, etc. Um, which I don't believe. This is 2000. You see, this is 2000 top, and this is 2007 top, and we're still hovering there. So if you want to see a recovery stock exchange, just look at DAX or just look at S&P. Would say is nowhere close to that kind of performance. This is a macro outlook. It's not short term. Recently, the blue support broke down, and I tweeted that I'm going short. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting this kind of strength today. I was expecting maybe hit to the broken uh, blue support and coming back down. But the news from Greece were also quite strong. So yeah, the orange channel may still be holding. Obviously, a lot of green resistances. So it's very choppy. It's a difficult market at the moment. I'm not very confident about my calls on FTSE, but when I see something like the the blue support breakdown, I call it and I short it. On DAX, let me see. So what's happening on DAX is something like this. So again, this is a log scale chart. So the orange channel, although it's not a perfect hit at the bottom band, the second hit is not really hitting it, but it looks quite okay with the internal lines. And if you look into the closer look, this is the recent green channel broke down, obviously, and it was very accurate channel, and it broke down. When it broke down, I shorted it. It was quite a nice ride, and finally it formed this blue bull flag looking kind of thing, and that was also a nice ride. Once it forms, these are very tradable instruments. So once it forms, you are here. So the bottom band is formed, the upper band you can plot with taking reference this top, and you can trade these here. Every time it hits the upper band, you can trade it short. So, and when it broke it up, you just go long, obviously, and because there's some momentum um, accumulating within a channel. So and that accumulation resolves to the other side, so you can go the opposite way. This red one is basically nothing at the moment. I'm just charting, taking this as a reference and putting it here. If it's going to become, like a bear flag, it may bounce right here, So I would be going long if it hits the bottom band. Oil. So all of my lines are already plotted, so I'm not going to delete them. Yeah, from this here. Okay, let me just put it on the 4-hour chart so we see some colors. Okay, the orange channel is very, very obvious, the orange rising channel. but it's not confirmed yet, I would say, because it needs a second bottom band hit to confirm it. It's quite choppy at the moment, but we have been able to trade it. The green, so this blue channel is the upper band is quite accurate. So when it comes to the lower band, it may bounce quite hard. The green support is really very beautiful. So above it held as support many times, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and today it's breaking down. So it's very bearish to me. And the green support already broke down, and you know, after holding several times, it broke down, and after it broke down, it went and it kissed it like a kiss back, kissed it here, and I tweeted that I'm going short at 58.8 today, which was also the upper band, like close to the upper band of this new orange channel, so declining orange channel, and it held pretty nicely and gave me more than $1, $1.20 at the moment, and I'm still holding my shorts until the bottom orange band and the blue band are hit. That's where I expect a bounce. What else? You know, yeah, DAX. I think we looked at everything. So G. Okay. The US dollar. Okay, I've never looked into this. So this is a weekly chart. I'm gonna try to plot it. Something like this. Can't see much. No, this is not something that I can work with. Something like this, maybe. Yeah. Ah. Okay. So, the bottom band was hit for the 4th time today or this week. So it's very shaky for New Zealand dollar. No, not good news. I would say it looks not very good. But let me see something like this. Yeah, it may, if it breaks down, I would say it may hit and form a channel here. Frankly, I don't really try to channel anything before I look into it very carefully, because some markets don't just work with channels. Do you hear me? Losing sound?
And I think we'll be connected.
Do you hear me? Losing sound? Maybe my... Is anyone hearing me? Will, are you hearing me? Audio back? Cool. Okay. So, yeah. My usual holding time. Yeah, it changes, but not months. No. Weeks, yes. Days, yes, but not months. So yeah, sometimes 2 days, 3 days, but I would say in average maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, but not months. No, I can't. I'm not that patient. I'm kind of like I chicken out when I see something like this. So okay, I think that's it from me for today. Maybe we can do it again.
Okay, Bouraq. Thanks. I think yeah, we're coming up to time as well. Thanks for the presentation. It's I'm sure everyone has found it actually very interesting.
Hope so.
I think a lot of the guys, it's probably the first time they're seeing anyone charting using log charts, and you can kind of see the value in that. Sometimes the log scale charts they reveal patterns, ratios, channels that would not be visible on straightforward price charts. But thanks for attending, and thanks as well to our audience. The presentation today, if anyone missed the start, was by Bouraq. Bouraq is a trader and chartist. His Twitter handle is at Trading Channels, and it was tradingchannels.co.uk where you publish your blog, isn't it, Bouraq?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, his mic may have gone. Yeah, right. So okay,
is my
so
mic
tradingchannels.co.uk. You can check out. You can check his work there.
Yeah. I don't. I think there's a
And,
question. I don't
and
do present.
so,
This is the first. Sorry. Do you hear me, Will? Do you hear me?
yeah, there. Go on.
Okay. So someone is asking, how often do you do these presentations? This is the first time I do a presentation like a webinar style. So I don't do it very often. But I have mentoring sessions one-on-one. Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say, so this one was an exclusive.
Exactly.
Exclusive for
Yeah. Only for Will.
Yeah, but I'm sure we'll have you back on again. I'm sure we'll have you back on again
Okay.
in the near future.
Yeah.
And if you guys have registered at PureLine, you'll receive emails whenever Bouraq's going to be presenting here. So thanks once again for attending. We're going to wrap up.
Asking, yes.